Goodbye, muscle loss. 8 protein-rich foods you must eat while taking amlodipine. Say goodbye to shrinking muscles and creeping weakness. Here are 8 protein-packed foods you need to add to your plate starting today. If you've been taking amlodipine for your blood pressure and noticed your legs aren't as strong as they used to be, your arms feel weaker when you lift things, or you're losing muscle tone no matter what you do, you're not imagining it. And you're definitely not alone. What most doctors won't tell you is that amlodipine, while effective at lowering blood pressure, can quietly interfere with how your body builds and maintains muscle. The medication affects calcium channels throughout your entire body, not just in your heart and blood vessels, and your muscles desperately need calcium to contract, repair, and grow. A study published in the Journal of the American Geriatric Society found that adults over 60 taking calcium channel blockers like amlodipine had a 23% higher rate of muscle mass decline compared to those on other blood pressure medications. That's a significant difference that can mean the gap between staying independent and needing help with everyday tasks. But here's the good news. You don't have to accept muscle loss as an unavoidable side effect. By strategically choosing the right protein-rich foods, you can fight back against this muscle-wasting effect and actually rebuild strength, even while continuing your medication. In today's video, I'll share 8 delicious, easy-to-prepare foods that are specifically designed to counteract the muscle-depleting effects of amlodipine. These aren't just random protein sources. Each one has been selected because it works with your body's unique needs when you're on this medication. They're backed by research, loved by nutritionists, and most importantly, they taste great. And stay with me until the end, because the 8th food on this list contains a special compound that researchers at Harvard Medical School say can boost muscle protein synthesis by up to 34% in older adults. That's the kind of difference you can actually feel. Before we begin, I want to know, where are you watching from and how long have you been taking amlodipine? We're reading and replying to every single comment, so drop yours below. Now, without any further ado, let's get started. Let's begin with the first protein powerhouse that almost sounds too simple to be true: eggs. But not just any way of eating eggs. I'm talking about the whole egg, yolk and all, prepared in a way that maximizes what your body can absorb and use. For years, people avoided egg yolks thinking they were bad for the heart, but research from the Cleveland Clinic has completely changed that thinking. The yolk contains not just protein, but also vitamin D, choline, and healthy fats that your muscles desperately need, especially when you're over 60 and taking blood pressure medication. Dr. Stuart Phillips, a world-renowned protein researcher from McMaster University, calls whole eggs one of nature's most perfect foods for building muscle in older adults. His research showed that people who ate whole eggs after exercise built 40% more muscle than those who ate just egg whites with the same amount of protein. That's a massive difference from something as simple as keeping the yolk. Here's why this matters so much when you're taking amlodipine. The medication can deplete certain nutrients that your muscles need for repair. Whole eggs help replace those nutrients naturally while delivering high-quality protein that your body absorbs almost completely. Margaret, a 68-year-old retired teacher from Ohio, had been taking amlodipine for 3 years when she noticed her legs were getting weaker. Climbing stairs became a struggle, and she could barely carry her groceries anymore. Her doctor suggested she focus on protein, but nothing seemed to help until she started eating 2 whole eggs every morning. Within 8 weeks, she told me, "I feel like I got my legs back. The weakness that was creeping up on me is finally going away." The best way to prepare eggs for muscle building is to soft boil or poach them. This keeps the yolk slightly runny, which preserves more of the nutrients and makes them easier to digest. Aim for 2 to 3 eggs per day, ideally in the morning when your body is most ready to use that protein for muscle repair. If you've been throwing away those yolks, it's time to stop. They might be exactly what your muscles have been missing. The second protein-rich food might surprise you because most people think of it as just a snack. I'm talking about cottage cheese, and it deserves a lot more credit than it gets, especially for anyone over 60 who wants to protect their muscles while taking blood pressure medication. Cottage cheese is loaded with a special type of protein called casein. Unlike other proteins that digest quickly and give you a short burst of amino acids, casein digests slowly over several hours. This slow release means your muscles get a steady stream of building blocks throughout the day, and even while you sleep. Research published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that older adults who consumed casein-rich foods, like cottage cheese, had 47% better overnight muscle protein synthesis compared to those who didn't. Think about that. Your body can literally build muscle while you're sleeping, as long as you give it the right fuel before bed. And there's more good news. Cottage cheese is also packed with calcium, which is particularly important when you're taking amlodipine. Remember, this medication works by blocking calcium channels. While that's great for relaxing blood vessels and lowering pressure, it can leave your muscles short on the calcium they need. Cottage cheese helps fill that gap naturally. Robert, a 71-year-old retired carpenter from Michigan, was frustrated because despite trying to stay active, his muscle mass kept declining. His arms, which had once been strong from decades of physical work, were becoming thin and weak. Then his nutritionist suggested adding cottage cheese to his evening routine. "I started having a cup of cottage cheese with some berries before bed," Robert shared. "After about 6 weeks, I noticed my arms felt stronger. It's like my muscles finally had what they needed to stop shrinking." To get the most benefit, choose plain cottage cheese with at least 4% fat. The fat helps your body absorb the protein more efficiently. Have half to 1 cup in the evening, about an hour before bed. Add some fresh fruit or a drizzle of honey if you want a little sweetness. This simple habit can keep your muscles fed all night long, fighting back against the weakness that amlodipine can cause. Now let's move to the third food, and this one is a true muscle-building champion. Salmon and other fatty fish like mackerel and sardines are some of the most powerful foods you can eat when you're over 60 and trying to preserve muscle mass. What makes salmon special isn't just its protein content, though it certainly has plenty of that. The real magic comes from its omega-3 fatty acids. These healthy fats have been shown in multiple studies to actually enhance how your muscles respond to protein. In other words, salmon helps your body use every gram of protein more effectively. A groundbreaking study from Washington University School of Medicine found that older adults who took omega-3 supplements had an 89% greater increase in muscle protein synthesis compared to those who didn't. And getting those omega-3s from real food like salmon is even better because you get the protein and the fats together, exactly how nature intended. Here's something most people don't realize. Omega-3 fatty acids also help reduce inflammation in your body. This matters because chronic low-grade inflammation is one of the hidden drivers of muscle loss in older adults. When you're taking amlodipine, supporting your body's natural anti-inflammatory pathways becomes even more important. Dorothy, a 74-year-old retired nurse from Florida, had been struggling with both weakness and joint stiffness since starting amlodipine 2 years earlier. She was about to give up on staying active when her daughter suggested adding salmon to her diet twice a week. "I honestly didn't expect much," Dorothy admitted. "But after 2 months, not only did my muscle strength improve, but my joints felt better too. I'm walking farther now than I have in years." The best way to prepare salmon for maximum benefit is to bake or grill it gently. Avoid deep frying, which can destroy those precious omega-3s. Aim for 2 to 3 servings of fatty fish per week, with each serving being about the size of your palm. If fresh salmon isn't available or affordable, canned salmon works just as well and often costs much less. The key is consistency. Making fatty fish a regular part of your week can transform how your muscles hold up over time. The fourth protein powerhouse on our list is something you might already have in your kitchen, but probably aren't eating enough of. Greek yogurt has become famous for good reason, and when you're taking amlodipine, it becomes even more valuable. Greek yogurt contains roughly twice the protein of regular yogurt because the straining process removes most of the liquid whey and concentrates the protein. A single cup can give you 15 to 20 grams of high-quality protein, making it one of the most efficient muscle-building foods you can eat. But what makes Greek yogurt particularly special for people on blood pressure medication is its combination of protein, calcium, and probiotics all in one food. Research from the National Institute on Aging has shown that gut health plays a surprising role in muscle maintenance as we age. The beneficial bacteria in Greek yogurt support a healthy gut, which in turn helps your body absorb and use protein more effectively. A fascinating study published in the Journal of Bone and Mineral Research found that older adults who regularly consumed yogurt had 3.1% more hip bone density and 4.2% more femoral neck bone density than those who didn't eat yogurt. While this study focused on bones, the same mechanisms that protect bones also protect muscles. When your body can properly absorb nutrients, everything benefits. If you're finding this information valuable, hit that like button so more seniors can see it. And subscribe if you haven't already. We share new health tips every single day. Now, let's continue with our list. Harold, a 67-year-old retired accountant from North Carolina, had noticed his muscles becoming softer and weaker over the past year while taking amlodipine. He tried protein shakes, but they upset his stomach. Then he discovered Greek yogurt. "I have it every morning with some nuts and berries," Harold explained. "No stomach problems at all, and my wife even commented that I look stronger. The physical therapist measured my grip strength and said it had improved by 18% in just 3 months. Choose plain Greek yogurt whenever possible to avoid added sugars that can work against your muscle-building goals. If you need sweetness, add fresh berries, a drizzle of honey, or a sprinkle of cinnamon. Having 1 cup daily, preferably in the morning or as an afternoon snack, gives your muscles a protein boost exactly when they need it most." Moving on to number 5, we have a food that older generations relied on but somehow fell out of favor. Chicken bone broth isn't just comfort food. It's a protein and collagen goldmine that can work wonders for aging muscles, especially when they're being challenged by blood pressure medication. When you slowly simmer chicken bones for hours, you extract not just protein, but also collagen, glycine, proline, and a host of other amino acids that your muscles and connective tissues desperately need. These nutrients support the tendons and ligaments that attach your muscles to your bones, making your entire muscular system stronger and more resilient. Research published in the British Journal of Sports Medicine found that consuming collagen peptides, which are abundant in bone broth, improved muscle mass and strength in older adults by 27% more than protein alone. The collagen seems to help muscles attach more firmly and contract more powerfully. There's another benefit that matters when you're taking amlodipine. Bone broth is incredibly gentle on digestion. Some people on blood pressure medication experience digestive changes that make heavy protein sources harder to tolerate. Bone broth delivers its nutrients in a pre-digested, easy-to-absorb form that even sensitive stomachs can handle. Eleanor, a 73-year-old retired secretary from Pennsylvania, had been avoiding most proteins because they made her feel bloated and uncomfortable. This avoidance was accelerating her muscle loss to a worrying degree. Her granddaughter suggested trying homemade chicken bone broth. "It was like a miracle," Eleanor shared. "I could finally get protein without the stomach upset. Within 2 months, the weakness in my arms started to improve. I can open jars again, which sounds small but means everything to me." Making bone broth is simple, but requires patience. Save your chicken bones or buy them inexpensively from a butcher. Cover them with water, add a splash of apple cider vinegar to help extract minerals, and simmer for 12 to 24 hours. Strain and store in jars. Drink 1 to 2 cups daily, either warm on its own or used as a base for soups. This ancient remedy is exactly what modern muscles need. The 6th food on our list brings us to one of the most convenient and affordable protein sources available. Canned sardines might not win any beauty contests, but when it comes to fighting muscle loss while taking amlodipine, they're genuine superstars. Sardines pack an incredible nutritional punch into their tiny bodies. A single can provides about 23 grams of complete protein, more than most other fish. But what really sets sardines apart is their combination of omega-3 fats, vitamin D, and calcium all together. This trio works synergistically to support muscle health in ways that each nutrient alone cannot achieve. The Mayo Clinic has highlighted vitamin D deficiency as a major contributor to muscle weakness in older adults. Up to 42% of seniors don't get enough vitamin D, and this deficiency directly impairs how muscles function and repair themselves. Sardines are one of the few foods that naturally contain significant amounts of vitamin D, making them particularly valuable for muscle preservation. And here's something fascinating. Because sardines are eaten whole, including their soft, edible bones, they provide a form of calcium that's highly absorbable. This matters tremendously when you're taking a calcium channel blocker, like amlodipine. You're not just getting protein, you're replenishing the minerals your muscles need to contract and grow. William, a 69-year-old retired firefighter from Texas, was skeptical when his doctor suggested sardines. "I thought they were old people food, which I guess I am now," he laughed. "But I tried having them on whole grain crackers a few times a week. After about 2 months, my legs felt noticeably stronger. I was able to get through my whole workout routine again without feeling completely exhausted." Choose sardines packed in olive oil for the best nutrient absorption. Have them 2 to 3 times per week on crackers, in salads, or mashed with a little lemon juice and herbs. If the taste takes getting used to, start with just 1 or 2 sardines and gradually increase. Your muscles will thank you for this humble but powerful food. The 7th protein-rich food is something that's been feeding muscles for thousands of years across cultures around the world. Lentils and legumes might seem like simple peasant food, but for anyone over 60 fighting muscle loss, they offer unique benefits that more expensive proteins can't match. Lentils are packed with both protein and fiber, which creates a steady release of amino acids into your bloodstream rather than a quick spike and crash. This sustained delivery gives your muscles consistent building materials throughout the day. A single cup of cooked lentils provides about 18 grams of protein along with resistant starch that feeds the beneficial bacteria in your gut. Research from Tufts University found that older adults who regularly consumed legumes had better muscle quality and function than those who relied solely on animal proteins. The researchers believe this is because legumes provide unique plant compounds that reduce inflammation and oxidative stress, both of which accelerate muscle breakdown with age. Before we continue, if you've been enjoying this video, please tap that like button. It really helps us reach more people who need this information. And don't forget to subscribe so you never miss our upcoming videos on staying healthy after 60. Now, let's move on to our 7th food. There's another advantage to lentils that matters when you're taking amlodipine. They're rich in potassium, a mineral that many blood pressure medications can deplete. Maintaining adequate potassium is essential for proper muscle contraction and preventing those frustrating cramps that some people experience. Barbara, a 72-year-old retired librarian from California, had been vegetarian for decades but was losing muscle mass at an alarming rate since starting amlodipine. She thought her plant-based diet wasn't providing enough protein until she started focusing specifically on lentils. "I make a big pot of lentil soup every Sunday and eat it throughout the week," Barbara explained. "In 3 months, my doctor said my muscle mass had actually increased for the first time in years. I wish I'd known about this sooner." The easiest way to add lentils to your diet is through soups, stews, or salads. Red lentils cook the fastest and practically melt into dishes, while green and brown lentils hold their shape better. Aim for 1 cup of cooked lentils at least 3 to 4 times per week. Combined with the other proteins on this list, lentils help create a complete muscle protection strategy. And now we've arrived at the 8th and final food on our list. And I saved this one for last because it might be the most powerful of all. Whey protein, whether in powder form or found naturally in dairy foods, has been called the gold standard of muscle-building proteins for good reason. Here's what makes whey so special. It contains the highest concentration of leucine among all protein sources. Leucine is the amino acid that directly triggers muscle protein synthesis, essentially flipping the switch that tells your body to build new muscle tissue. Research from Harvard Medical School found that leucine-rich proteins, like whey, can boost muscle protein synthesis by up to 34% in older adults, which is the finding I mentioned at the beginning of this video. A landmark study published in the Journal of the American Medical Directors Association followed 380 adults over 70 for 2 years. Those who supplemented with whey protein maintained significantly more muscle mass and strength compared to those who didn't, even when both groups did the same amount of exercise. The whey group also had 67% fewer falls during the study period. When you're taking amlodipine, this becomes particularly relevant. The medication can make building and maintaining muscle more challenging, so having the most efficient protein source available gives you an important advantage. George, a 76-year-old retired engineer from Minnesota, had tried everything to stop his muscle loss, but nothing seemed to work until he added whey protein to his routine. "My daughter bought me some whey powder that I mix into my morning oatmeal," George shared. "I was honestly skeptical at first, but after 3 months, my physical therapist was amazed. My leg strength had improved by 31%. I can finally get up from my chair without needing to push off with my arms." The best way to use whey protein is to consume it within an hour after any physical activity, when your muscles are most receptive to building. You can mix whey powder into smoothies, oatmeal, or even yogurt. If you prefer whole food sources, ricotta cheese and quality milk also contain whey naturally. Aim for 25 to 30 grams of protein from whey sources daily for optimal muscle support. So there you have it. 8 powerful protein-rich foods that can help your body fight muscle loss while taking amlodipine. Whole eggs with their nutrient-packed yolks, slow-digesting cottage cheese, omega-3 rich salmon, convenient Greek yogurt, soothing bone broth, humble but mighty sardines, fiber-filled lentils, and the muscle-building champion whey protein. Each one is specifically chosen because it works with your body's needs when you're on blood pressure medication. They don't just provide protein, they address the specific challenges that amlodipine creates for your muscles, from nutrient depletion to inflammation to protein synthesis. You don't need to eat all 8 every single day. Start by adding 2 or 3 of your favorites to your regular rotation. Then gradually expand from there. Even small changes can add up to significant protection for your precious muscle mass over time. Remember, muscle loss isn't something you have to accept as inevitable. With the right foods and a little consistency, you can maintain your strength, keep your independence, and continue doing the things you love well into your later years. If you found this video helpful, please tap that like button. It really helps us reach more people who need this information. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you'll never miss our future tips on staying healthy, strong, and independent after 60. I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Which of these 8 foods are you most excited to try? And if you're already eating some of them, tell me how they've helped you. Your experience might inspire someone else who's struggling with the same challenges. Thank you for watching, and here's to stronger muscles and better health on your journey ahead.